Today, FDA approvals in neuroendocrine tumors, breast cancer, acute myeloid leukemia, and of a biosimilar, and breakthrough therapy designations in endometrial cancer and acute myeloid leukemia. Welcome to Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus. The FDA has approved Illumetinib I131, known by the trade name Azedra, for adult and pediatric patients aged more than 12 years old with Illumetinib scan-positive, unresectable, locally advanced, or metastatic pheochromocytoma or paraganglioma who require systemic anti-cancer therapy. The decision was based on findings from a Phase 2b trial that was conducted under the FDA's Special Protocol Assessment. In the study, the radiopharmaceutical elicited a greater than 50% reduction in antihypertensive medication use for more than 6 months for 25% of patients with PPGL. In those receiving at least 2 therapeutic doses, this was achieved for 32% of patients. Illumetinib I131 is made using UltraTrace, which results in less non-radioactive MIBG during enrichment, leading to greater delivery of radiation to the tumor. The UltraTrace technology was developed by Molecular Insight Pharmaceuticals, which was later acquired by Progenics in 2013. The novel agent was previously granted a breakthrough therapy designation for the treatment of PPGL, along with orphan drug and fast-track designations. An expanded access program for Illumetinib I131 is currently available for patients with MIBG avid, malignant, and/or recurrent PPGL. The program also plans to further assess safety. In breast cancer, the FDA has approved the MagTrace and CentiMag magnetic localization system used to guide lymph node biopsies in women undergoing mastectomy. The system uses magnetic detection to identify sentinel lymph nodes for surgical removal. The magnetic MagTrace particles are injected into the patient's breast tissue and become trapped in the lymph nodes. The surgeon then applies the CentiMag probe to the patient's skin near the tumor site and detects the magnetic particles located within the sentinel lymph node. That node is then removed and tested for the presence of cancer cells. Endomag, the system's manufacturer, stated the device is less invasive than wire-guided localization and allows greater flexibility in scheduling for patients, surgeons, and radiologists. Endomag submitted updated data from the open-label, multi-center, paired comparison CentiMagic trial evaluating MagTrace versus a technetium-99 labeled sulfur colloid radioisotope isosulfane blue dye control. The study met the primary endpoint of non-inferiority for lymph node detection rate. Endomag received FDA approval for CentiMag and the marker technology MagSeed in 2016. The FDA approved Filgrastim AAFI, known by the trade name Nivistime, a Filgrastim biosimilar, to prevent and treat adverse events associated with cancer treatment, including febrile neutropenia and severe neutropenia. This is the second Filgrastim biosimilar approved for use in the United States following the 2015 approval of EP2006. Filgrastim AAFI is indicated to reduce the incidence and duration of these side effects in patients with non-myeloid malignancies undergoing myelosuppressive therapy, those with acute myeloid leukemia following induction or consolidation chemotherapy, patients with non-myeloid malignancies undergoing myeloablative chemotherapy followed by bone marrow transplantation, those with chronic congenital, cyclic, or idiopathic neutropenia, and patients undergoing autologous hematopoietic progenitor cell collection and treatment. In acute myeloid leukemia, the FDA has approved Evosidenib, known by the trade name Tibsovo, for the treatment of adult patients with relapsed/refractory IDH1 mutant disease. The approval was based on findings of a single-arm Phase 1 study of 174 patients with IDH1 positive relapsed/refractory AML. Results showed that the complete remission rate was 24.7% and the CR with partial hematologic improvement rate was 8%. Moreover, the median duration of CR plus CRh was 8.2 months. Among the CR/CRh population, the median time to best response was 2.0 months. Regarding safety, all grade adverse events occurring in more than 20% of patients included fatigue, leukocytosis, arthralgia, diarrhea, dyspnea, edema, nausea, mucositis, electrocardiogram QT prolonged, rash, pyrexia, cough, and constipation. The most common serious adverse events occurring in at least 5% of patients include differentiation syndrome, leukocytosis, and electrocardiogram QT prolonged. The FDA label for Evosidenib includes a boxed warning regarding differentiation syndrome, warning that the condition can be fatal if not treated. The FDA has granted a breakthrough therapy designation to the combination of Illumetinib and Pembrolizumab for the treatment of patients with advanced and/or metastatic non-microsatellite instability high proficient mismatch repair endometrial carcinoma who have progressed after more than one prior systemic therapy. The decision was based on interim data from the Phase 1b/2 basket study 111 or Keynote 146 trial, which were presented at the 2018 ASCO annual meeting. In the 53-patient endometrial cancer cohort, the objective response rate at week 24 per independent radiology review was 45.3% with the combination. The overall ORR was 47.2%, including 3 complete responses and 25 partial responses. Moreover, the median PFS within the combination was 7.4 months. 19 patients had stable disease and 5 had progressive disease. The median duration of response was not estimable. Overall, 79.3% of patients had a duration of response lasting longer than 12 months. This combination was previously granted a breakthrough therapy designation by the FDA in January 2018 for the treatment of patients with advanced and/or metastatic renal cell carcinoma. In acute myeloid leukemia, the FDA has granted a breakthrough therapy designation to Quizartinib for the treatment of adult patients with relapsed refractory FLT3-ITD positive acute myeloid leukemia. The designation is based on data from the Phase 3 QuANTUM-R study, in which the FLT3 inhibitor reduced the risk of disease progression or death by 24% versus salvage chemotherapy in patients with FLT3-ITD positive relapsed refractory AML after frontline treatment with or without hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. At a median follow-up of 23.5 months, the median overall survival was 6.2 months with Quizartinib compared with 4.7 months with salvage chemotherapy. Data from the QuANTUM-R study confirmed the efficacy and safety of Quizartinib that was observed in previous trials and showed the value of therapy targeting FLT3-ITD. It is the first trial to demonstrate improved overall survival for patients with FLT3-ITD-associated AML who are treatment-resistant or who relapse after prior therapy. This week, we sat down with Dr. Alexander Jolin of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center to discuss ongoing challenges with TRK inhibition.
The ongoing challenges for tumor-agnostic drug development, obviously at the top of the list is regulatory buy-in. Thankfully, we've seen the approval of Pembrolizumab for MSI-high cancers of any type, but that is an approval for an immunotherapeutic. I'm very optimistic that we'll see a similar approval for a TRK inhibitor, possibly larotrectinib first in the NTRK fusion-positive cancer space, and that's a big win for patients. Beyond that, once the drug is approved, the next major challenge is really getting coverage from payers for these tests in tumor types that historically have no coverage for next-generation sequencing. But once those two pieces are in place, I think that these programs like the NTRK fusion-positive program have a real utility in terms of helping a wide variety of different cancer patients and bringing them therapies that they otherwise wouldn't have previously had access to.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus.